link for before they come see the tutor. You know, they've explored the Writing Lab website, they've explored where they have troubles with verbs or with using commas. And they've also used this outside, they have another option of collaborating with their work and getting critique on their work before they come and see the tutor. And this benefits the students, the tutors, and the teachers. The students, it helps them, it lets them learn concepts before they come and see the tutor. And for the tutors, students will be more familiar with the information before they come in for a tutoring session, and therefore tutors won't be spending as much time just explaining something basic that they could have easily explored on the website. And for teachers, it's a good thing because teachers will be able to give their students good grades because hopefully they'll be producing good work. So, so that's the main.
One extra thing I forgot to actually describe. In this instance, you can make specific groups, and in those groups you can get people, you know, I'm not saying you have to use the site, but you can definitely use the ideas, Dr. Ann, and using these kind of concepts to help your tutors, help those individuals down there. But you can make groups, discussion areas to where 8 people can look at one paper and you get 8 different ideas on how your paper is progressing, what you can work on, how you can fix things. It's more of the open forum discussion area, being able to really define your material and make yourself a better writer. I mean, that's really what you're trying to accomplish at the end of the day, and why not make it as easy as possible for that individual. But overall, that's pretty much the gist of our design. And I'm Jason, she's Liz, and that's her drawing. We're done.
Stop, collaborate, and...
I can't do this. The thing is
Okay,
not
I
like
have questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what exactly is Google Venture?
Good. This is a website that it's
Is
Google.
Is it a template or?
Yeah, a template
Okay.
that we'd want to use. So, I was just from day one when I opened up this website and I saw how they listed out their companies and how they're all listed on one big page, and so you see every single company and you can click around in the way that it categorizes.
It's like a big word search.
Essentially.
Yeah, so, but I loved it because it just, in my mind, I just thought this encourages me to explore these companies.
So
More than-
how flexible is that template? I mean, for instance, on the one section, they had 6 across on their menu. Are you limited to 6?
Well, you can go to the websites, and it kind of gives you ideas of how other websites, they've used them for other companies.
And does this cost us a fee to use?
That's something I would assume so, but it's more or less the idea of utilizing the same concept, the same. I mean, this is stuff you can
Of
script.
laying it all out there.
Yeah, it's a script that if you have programmers here, which I know that you do, these kind of programmers can come in, and this is very simple UI to come in and try to manipulate. It's not something that's over the top. But if you said, hey, I want this on the website, they'll be able to do it. Or at least they should.
Well, yeah, we won't even go there.
So.
Okay, then the Protagonize is like a writing blog that anybody can,
Essentially, but you can
Access?
utilize it in a more private manner. I don't have a login on the website anymore because I don't use it anymore, but there is an area where you can make it more private setting. I'm sure you could even probably distribute and categorize your own UNT area. Right? And essentially, it's just built off a blog. I think it's a Zen 4.0 is what it's based off. It's just a blog site.
that would be your timer going off.
Okay, well, thank you. But it's essentially just a blog site, and you could develop it any way you want.
Okay, then you started off by explaining this whole idea of the open meadow is a better metaphor for a writing lab than a closed room because that puts barriers up between the user and the website. Okay, that's good. I bought into that. But then when you were talking about the Protagonize website, you kind of went right back to the thing you had just told me. Yeah. So how do we
Well, it's
explain
them
that?
showing and utilizing that idea, but you don't have to follow. I should have explained that more. You don't have to follow that mantra. You don't have to follow that categorization. You can essentially make it the way you want it. That's the whole idea of showing an example of that site, saying, hey, here's an idea of somebody used something, but if you wanted to follow that, because in a lot of ways, like, look, we can give you the idea of using an open meadow, But at the end of the day, maybe you want to follow down a specific path because it's easier for people to associate with that. If you don't want to give them the access to where they can just find the things on their own, like Google Ventures, you still have that option, but it's not as concise and it's not as closed off. It still has different options, because each one of those areas was different. It's not all the same, it's not just one coffee shop. It's an area where you go to collaborate. It's an area that you kind of have the pub, it's the little, the play on the word, so to speak. Not so much that it's actually that, but you can make it whatever you want.
Okay. In terms of your presentation though, you guys still have sort of an inherent disconnect
Clash?
there, because
Okay.
you're clashing with each other, because you're saying open spaces and you're bringing us right back to the closed space.
Okay, I should have explained that better, but.
So, and based on what you show us, I'm not even sure, I don't know if you can explain that away. Am I the only one struggling with that?
What do you mean explain it away?
Well, you can tell me how, you can talk about how open pubs are all that long, but still.
No, I shouldn't have used that.
It's still a room.
example.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't have related it in that sense. I wasn't going for that, but I can say you got confused.
Well, it's not a matter of confused, it's just a matter of,
Coherent presentation.
yeah, because, you're telling me white's bad and then you're showing me white. Oh, well, you just told me I don't want white, why are you showing me white?
Okay,
Is basically what I'm getting at.
I got you.
So when you use a website like Protagonize, do you have to pay a membership fee, or
Nope,
can
it's free.
anybody just log in?
It's free. Anybody can, well, yeah, you can just you can make limitations on things, but it's not gonna cost you anything to do it. That's the big thing, for you at least.
Okay. Not familiar with that one. Okay, other people have questions? No? Okay.
Travis?
Well, what about the presentation?
It's cool that you drew, and when you said,
I like the drawing.
yeah, when you said opening the door like a click, I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, you had me pretty sold on the whole open concept, because it was like, okay, honestly, the whole.
Sorry to derail that, I didn't
The
mean
whole,
to do that.
the whole metaphor that you started off with the gas and the refining was kind of cool, but then it just kind of dwindled away and we moved on to
Yeah,
a
we were-
completely different metaphor.
They're a little bit different topics, but I thought they were both relatable to creating a new website. But yeah, maybe I just should have focused on space.
I think we had too many metaphors. Yeah, we had oil refineries, and we had meadows, and we had buildings, and we had barriers, and we had space at one point. We had lots of metaphors.
Lets you think more, though.
Not my best.
Explore.
Yes. Okay,
Fine.
the rest of you
I remember.
need to have opinions too, not just me.
Good graphics, for
Okay,
sure.
have
The fun
an
slides
opinion.
were
How is
cool.
that I like the,
You like the drawing, okay.
Travis like the
no,
graphics.
click, which is
Okay.
Too many clipboards.
one door goes with click.
Yeah.
One too many.
One too many clipboards.
So there's Anthony, what's up?
Oh, clipboards again?
What did you say?
I said one too many clipboards
I
here.
didn't even say that.
One
Friends,
too many
to be
clipboards.
honest.
Yeah, okay, you weren't here last time, but we actually talked about the clipboard at quite some length, because lots of people in the last round of presentations had clipboard. And the one conclusion we came to, the problem with clipboards is too much of this. You've got the shield between you and the
It's
audience.
the
I
door.
think she did a good job, though, of holding it
Yeah,
Yeah,
down.
you did.
You did a better
It was
job this
better.
time. Go back and look at the video.
It's
and
the
you'll see.
barrier.
Oh,
It's
no.
the
Tend
door.
to do.
It's the-
I did hear you say,
You
every
were
time
lower
you
this
started
time.
to look
Use
at
it as
it.
a
Use it
guide.
as
Every time I looked at it.
Open anything.
Yeah, we basically decided we're kind of anti-clipboard, because
Not
there's
all
no
of us
way,
agree.
Oh, you did
I know.
all of us.
but there's no way you can get past the fact that it's a crutch. It's a
I
crutch.
suggested that we hold
You
it out
can't-
the way like this.
And sometimes you have to, make a choice,
Oh, yeah.
but
Stylish crutch.
stylish crutch.
Next time I'm gonna use my iPad.
Makes you look
There you
smart.
go. Yeah, you can use it on
So when is that
that,
gonna become
and
a
people
crutch?
are impressed.
I know, nobody's.
But a clipboard,
Yeah,
not so
see?
much.
So many
Okay.
clips.
Okay, what else
It's
could
just a-
they
just a
do
clipboard.
for their presentation? Anthony?
I did like the idea of minimalist UI, because you and I have done research on that before. How do you know that presenting, especially like a freshman in 2700 or a 1200 class, how do you know they aren't going to go and look at the amount of data or all the topics and go, oh, wow, and kind of back out of it?
Well, I guess that's something you would need to, you need to kind of personalize it more. I mean, you can make a profile, essentially. I mean, a lot of HTML5 stuff allows that.
Yeah.
That's something we should have covered into more, but we kind of beat that horse dead over the past couple of presentations, so I want to just leave that alone for now.
Okay.
Good question.
I kind of like the word search. Kind of
Kind of scary.
The word cloud kind of thing.
Yeah.
I had a question on the word search. You said like that could encourage exploration. Would the categories sort of sedate the more, maybe not irritated, but the more like impatient user if they're looking for a specific thing and they can't find it?
Perhaps. These are listed in alphabetical order, though.
I don't really think there's a limit to what you can and cannot put.
So
But-
that helps, the alphabetical order of it.
Really, I don't have the money to pay for it.
So even though this particular site doesn't utilize it, there's also a search function you could put in there.
What was that?
You can also put in a search function
Yes,
even
you
though
can.
this site doesn't utilize it.
Well, see, like, here's, some of these different websites, you scroll back up, Liz. Like, some of these different websites,
One more time.
One finger.
Light touch.
a lot of these different websites use the same thing, it's the same build,
Mhm.
but they just use it in a more separate manner. This one doesn't have a search. One of them had the search, and I went through all of them, but it's using the same kind of build, and essentially you could just, it's like anything nowadays, you can change every single one of those pieces to say whatever you